Hello everybody, welcome back to some more Planet Coaster. We've officially finished our medieval and Renaissance themed theme park, Kings Lake, so we're going to be doing a tour of it. I took a couple hours and went and just did some finishing touches all around the park. Really excited to show it off. So the first thing we built in this park was this nice little entryway with our main park building. This is meant to be like some sort of central building, maybe some sort of, I don't know, entry area or like an administration building. I don't know. I just wanted a nice center building in the beginning. Doesn't really serve a function, doesn't have any shops or anything, but it certainly does look nice with this little fenced off area with bushes all around. But yeah, I learned a lot from making this one. We have the sorts of different styles built in through here. I did a lot of experimenting with different types of roofs, so I had some trouble getting some of the wooden roofs to look good, but as we got going to the park, they started looking better and better. And one of my favorite things is the actual white there, so those are actual roof pieces that I stacked on top of each other, but I love the texture they make, and it came out looking pretty cool, even if it's not functional because you can't actually go inside the building. And then around the back, we have a sort of balcony area or patio area. It's just a path going around the back. No one's ever gonna go back there because the guests won't actually traverse it because there's nothing of interest back there, but I think it looks cool and looks out over the lake of the park. And then the second thing we built was this little food stand. There's a food and drink stand inside of this, so it's meant to be just like a nice little restaurant area. I love the look of this building, especially with the integrated path over here where we actually have it separated off here, and then you basically just walk in here and you have the Cosby Cow drink stand and Chief Beef, hashtag Chief Beef Belief burger stand. Looks real cool. And then outside here, oh, getting stuck in the bushes, we have a little supply area with like an employee entrance just kind of off to the side. All in all, it comes out looking pretty cool. It was right here where I started to learn a lot more about making my own roofs with the wooden tile pieces. And we implemented a lot of these ideas later into some of the other builds in the park. And then over here we have arguably one of the more useless builds in the park. It's our stage, our Shakespearean or Renaissance stage area where performances and plays and stuff will occur. We have fake little benches all the way around. Benches will be added in Alpha 3, which I cannot wait, so we can actually use real benches instead of making our own little fake ones. And then over here we just have our first little hat stand. Nice looking little building. It has a little balcony up top. Real small, real simple, but with a nice white roof that came out pretty good. And then right next door we have our first ride in the park. This is our little dwarf or hobbit or whatever village. Check it out. I love how these came out. I had the idea to use these rocks as little houses for our little fantasy creatures. Like I just call them dwarves, but they can be whatever they want. Look how this came out. It's so cool. We have these little rock buildings with windows all over, their own doorways. The ride matches the theme a little bit better. It seems kind of fantasy or mystical with some sort of witch and flying pigs and all that stuff, but I just really like the designs for this area, and I'm just really happy we ended up going with it. Came out real nice. Oddly enough, one of my favorite things in this area is just this wooden fence we were able to build. It just was nice being able to separate the area and actually have it match the theme, because none of the other walls would have looked very good here. So I love this kind of picket fence idea we went with. Not to mention this nice little barrier wall, which kind of brings it up above. I love making these sort of multi-level parks. We didn't do too much in the main castle area, but I guess a little bit. I just like having the guests kind of go up and down and looking all around. And they have some nice bushes around here. These lampposts I'm really happy with. I think they came out really cool. This thing doesn't look super good when it's upside down. It's kind of odd looking, but you know, it kind of matches with the rustic area of the park. And I absolutely love the views from here. So you can see all the way across Kings Lake over to the other bridges. You have the theater there over to the right, and then our boat ride, which we'll get to in just a second. But to get over there, you just zip on over here and go straight across these bridges. I'm glad I went with an actual bridge design because just the paths themselves when they kind of bridge over don't look super great. I'm not in love with them, but these came out really cool. We have matching ones on both sides, and the lanterns inside just looks really nice in my opinion, and leads to an awesome entryway of the actual castle. Over here we start to get a little bit more organized with these sort of trees and bushes and flowers and everything, and then we get into the main city. As you guys saw through the videos, these cities took a long time to make. Well, yes, it's one city, but these buildings took a long time to make. There's a lot of detail, a lot of tiny, intricate moving pieces all over around, trying to find new ways to use pieces, like flipping signs and doors over to make roof tiles, and just breaking up the patterns and everything. We even have fences on this building to the left that uses sort of crossbeam support, so it's a lot of fun. The game limits you with the amount of things you can actually build with, But since it is limiting, you have to kind of be creative and find new ways to use things. I mean, you can just see it all throughout here. We have the buildings on the sides. A lot of them are copy and pasted, so it did save me some time, but I try to vary my designs a little bit, make it actually feel more alive. Like I think this is the restroom right here. Kind of giant building for a restroom, but again, suspension of disbelief, but just look how awesome this feels. I absolutely love it. It matches the art style of the game really well in my opinion, and I'm just happy with how this came out. This is by far my favorite park, especially with this really long hallway here, not really hallway, pathway, kind of in between the castle and then some of the other taller buildings. And then interspliced between all of these buildings, we have our little pathways or queues to the rides, kind of in the alleyways. We have the star wheel here, and I'm glad I went with the signs. Someone suggested that, because that's not something I really did, because I didn't think it would match, but since it is supposed to be like a theme park inside of a medieval city, I figured it would be alright. And I know previously I had just kind of black ground everywhere and no bushes and stuff. I said I didn't want any trees or bushes or any sort of life in the actual park, but we ended up changing that. I ended up just making the whole thing grass and adding a lot more bushes and trees all over the place because I just thought it looked a lot nicer than just having the black everywhere. And these little parts I love. So it probably gets a little cramped at times, but these tight alleyways with these really cool lights hanging over. So I think they're just like bag lights. Look so awesome. I love them. And then we have over here our ship ride, just kind of sitting out on the lake. Broke up, just kind of the boringness of the lake. I can't wait till we get water in the game. So we will revisit this park once Alpha 3 comes out and we have water, and we'll try and actually make a lake with actual water. But the roofs look alright. The roof tiles kind of just hanging out over there. Not too bad. This whole ride came out pretty cool too. I like the design we went with, where it's kind of it's on a floating dock or something. I don't know, it looked a lot better than just trying to implement it directly into the quote-unquote water. And then right here we have our little merry-go-round, which we actually implemented just a pathway through this building. Not super detailed or anything, but I like actually squeezing it through the buildings like that. I mean, it fits pretty well in the park. It's a nice itty-bitty little ride. I didn't realize this thing was 2 stories. That's really cool looking. And then right next to it we have the famous wall of barrels used to kind of cover up one of the queue entrances. I think it's pretty funny looking. Came out alright. And then right through here in this gatehouse we have the entrance to the White Keep, which is the name of the castle. Which is the name of the castle coaster, I guess. So we have a nice long path stretching through here. We're gonna add some lights all throughout. They don't give off too much light, but they're cool and they look all glowy, and you know, it's not too bad. We don't need too much lighting because this is supposed to be like medieval and Renaissance, so there wouldn't be just lights flooding everywhere. We use some of the yellow floodlights in the different ride areas and stuff, but not too much. Oh, are these trees blocking the path? Yep. Okay, well that's a problem. Just gotta push through this tree real quick. There we go. Oops, did not notice that. That's something I should probably fix at some point. And then up here we added quite a bit of stuff. So we have these lights up on the left, and then the hedges on the right. So we have them basically in between or surrounding the coaster. And I think it looks really cool, especially when the coaster passes through it. So we'll get that in a second. In here, I didn't do too much because I could do a lot of decorating. So what I did was basically just add a central building here for the housing of the coaster. I could have done a lot more. Some people had some cool rides. Like, they said I should make like a long table for like the knights and kings and stuff to eat in. But I didn't really want to spend the time doing that because this isn't something people are really going to see them in. This is just mainly an area to load the coaster. I'd rather focus on the outside areas. And to split this whole building up into smaller buildings just would have taken a long time and a lot of tiny pieces that probably would have lagged the game even more. Because my frame rate is pretty bad as it is. And off we go onto the coaster ride again. Not super happy with this coaster. It's hard working with the limitations. I didn't realize I didn't close that hole. I meant to. It's hard working with the limitations of the game. Or the limitations of the coaster design, especially when you're trying to squeeze into a tight space like this. I mean, look how wonky that chain lift looks. Oh, it's so gross. I hate it. But it gets us up there, and you can't see it from the outside, so whatever. I'll get over it. We'll be alright. I didn't change any more of this coaster since the last episode, so this is basically the same ride. Just mostly just details all around the park are different. Oh, if everybody had the lights up, that looks nice. We've never actually rode this coaster. We've never ridden this coaster at night, so it looks really cool just being able to see the entire park. Zip down there, kind of buzz the people waiting in line. Slows down a little bit here, but again, we have the push tires to kind of lift it up. It's our second hill, kind of. Well, it's a little bit of a hill. And it's alright. Just zips back around. And this part actually looks really cool. I tested it out a little bit ago, but just zipping right through here between all the hedges. Woo, right under the people, waiting in line, and back up and in. There you go. Looks pretty sweet. Again, admittedly, I'm not the best coaster builder in the world. Like, my coasters tend to be a little wonky and not super smooth or realistic. That's something I'd like to work on, but it's alright. Honestly, I'm more interested in the building aspects of this game, so as long as the coasters function, I'm good, but I know that's something I do need to work on, and I plan to for future parks. But guys, that's going to be it for this episode of Planet Coaster and this park and Planet Coaster. We finished up Kings Lake. Looking forward to Alpha 3, which will be available on August 23rd. We're going to be starting in a brand new park then. If you have any ideas for theme park ideas, definitely let me know in the comments below. Leave a like if you enjoyed the series. I'll see you guys next time for some more Planet Coaster on August 23rd. Bye.